Good morning, one and all. I'll try that without the sigh at the beginning. Good morning, one and all. You join me on a crisp January morning aboard my partner's Triumph Bonneville T100, which also happens to be the former steed of one Spectre 223, my official, unofficial YouTube boyfriend and BFF for life, who's also currently in possession of my Honda Magna, another bike which is yet to grace the channel in a proper way. But there we go. You join me on this very, very cold January morning, wearing summer gloves like an idiot, and refusing to turn my heated grips on because I don't want the battery to run flat on this barely used bike. And you may be asking yourself, Road Warrior 96, why aren't you at work? It's a January morning. Well, I am on my way to the dance. Yes, the Redundancy. As of a couple of weeks ago, I was made redundant, or shall I say put up for at risk of redundancy, which basically means you're going to be made redundant. But we can't just say that yet. So yeah, I find myself with a bit more free time. But I suppose the point of this video is to give a little update, show off this bike, of course, because it has yet to see the channel properly, and just to say, expect a few more videos, hopefully. It's not all doom and gloom. Normally when you announce that you've been made redundant, it's generally bad news, but it's kind of a blessing in disguise for me, because I've been quite unhappy at work for the last few years now, and especially since COVID and all that stuff happened. I've not enjoyed working at all. In fact, I've lamented the fact that I have to sit at work on my own at home every day with no real job satisfaction. My job, I worked in IT. That's as specific as I'll be. And all I did was help banks and insurance companies keep their systems running correctly and securely. And I'm not trying to be la-di-da about it, but there's really no I don't get anything. That's not doing anything for my soul, you know, just making the rich richer and being a little guy in the background, you know, helping them do that. And don't get me wrong, the pay was good, and that's why I stayed with it for so long. I was planning to stick with it because, you know, with the pay being so good and me being good at the job, I kind of was willing to sacrifice a bit of happiness in life to keep doing that. I had an old friend of mine used to call it the golden handcuffs, because, you know, you're kind of your hands are tied, but you're getting paid quite well at the same time. So yeah, you end up stuck. But this redundancy it caught me completely off guard, to be honest. But the silver lining is, because I've been with the company for so many years, I'm getting quite a generous redundancy package. So what that money does, it gives me the breathing room to do a career change and not have to worry about, you know, can I pay the mortgage if I'm not making X amount of money. It's a really I'm at a crossroads, and it's, to be honest, I'm really happy that I am. It's when they told me about the money, I burst out crying, and they were tears of joy, but also of fear, because as soon as they told me about that money, I knew I had no choice but to try and do something else in life, because I had been so down about this whole thing for so many years. It was like, it just overwhelmed me, the fact that I had this opportunity and there was absolutely no excuse for me to not take it. So yeah, it was a mixture of fear and joy, and I was overcome. And I'm not an overly emotional person, as you can probably tell from my videos. I get happy about bikes, but I try not to get too down about things too. But yeah, it was insane. It was insane. That's a big old life update, that is. And I'm sorry, because I know January is absolutely chock-a-block with life updates on YouTube, and I know they are usually boring as fuck. And I'm being honest, I don't watch most of them. Like, there's only a really select few people where I see them do a life update video and I think, yes, I must watch that. The rest of them, it's just like, fucking hell, just make your good, you know, your normal videos, you know, crack on. I don't need a life update. That's mine. I'm getting mine in. I'm there. I'm planning to take a couple of months off of work generally, and then think about sort of retraining in something else. I'm not entirely sure what that'll be yet, but there's a few ideas. There's a few ideas there. I'll definitely be doing a couple of bike trips and making a few videos, and I'll go for as many test rides as I can, get a few review videos in there. I know people like those. Even though there's a ton of those on YouTube, I don't mind. I love riding different bikes. Like, if I could ride a different bike every day, that would suit me just fine. So yeah, I don't mind doing them, and people don't mind watching them, so I'll do a couple of them. There are a few exciting bikes coming out as well that I want to try. The new CBR 600, the new Ducati Supermotard, the single pot thing. They're definitely on the hit list. I think it's been maybe a month today since the last video. It was me having a neighbour, ranting about my neighbours on the Husqvarna. That was a fun video. Sometimes coming out on the bike and having this camera to rant to is such a blessing. You can really get things off your chest. I do. I appreciate people enjoy watching it too, because that definitely helps motivate me to keep doing it, because it is good fun. Bonneville. How about that? I'm just going to chuck it right out front, I reckon. Why not? Yes, let's get some hound food. I'll catch up with you on the way back, probably. Except now, I have 8 kilos of meat on board. Call me the road meat warrior. If I crash, the crows and vultures will be closing in at record speed to come and take advantage of my spilled meat. It's not cheap having a big dog. Don't ever think it is, but it is worth it. I always had chihuahuas and small dogs like Bichon Frises and whatnot as a kid. So of course, as soon as I got the opportunity in adulthood, I got a Newfoundland. Yeah, she's large. She's actually a cross, so not as large as it could be, but yeah, not insignificant either. It's actually turning into quite a gorgeous morning. I'm half tempted to take the long way back, but I still do have a couple of work commitments before I can completely go into holiday mode, so to speak. We'll carry on being a good boy for now, but yeah, as of Friday I am persona non gratis, as they say. I have no idea what that means, but people do say it in these situations. I'm apprehensive and excited because I have not been out of a full-time employment since the age of 17, 18 maybe. Well, it's all I've known since I left education. It's just work. Never had an extended break. I don't suppose many people do get the opportunity, but yeah, I'm gonna fucking grab it with both hands. Absolutely. Any committed viewers that are still watching at this point, let me know which of my videos, which videos are like, yeah, this is what you're good at, make more of these. Which ones give you that feeling? Because I know that when I watch my favourite creators, there are certain types of videos, when they upload them, I'm like, yes, can't wait to watch that one. I love it when they do those. And there are others where it's like, oh, this again, alright. And then you either reluctantly watch it, and it's usually pretty good still, or you just don't bother. So yeah, I'm very open to feedback, good and bad. You know, audio video setup, any feedback there. Always happy to try new things in that arena too. Oh, this looks slippery. I think it's just wet, but it is like 0 degrees right now. It might have gone up by like 1 or 2 degrees, but yeah, anything that looks shiny I might assume is ice for the good of my health. Fucking impatient Mercedes up my arse there. don't suppose they've ever ridden a bike on ice. Standard car drivers though, innit? They do not understand what it's like to be vulnerable and to have only 2 wheels between you and the hard concrete. But at least they didn't crash into the back of me, so they've done better than a lot of... Yeah, that is slick. I think that is black ice. I don't give a fuck. I'll keep creeping around bends while it's this cold. Trust me. I got crash bars fitted on this though. I got them fitted for my partner because it's her first big bike, and I just thought if she drops it, I don't want there to be a big consequence, because you know it's already a knock to the confidence dropping a bike in the first place, but to drop it and then damage a beautiful hand painted tank like this one, that would be... it would just make you too nervous to be confident, you know. So I thought, whack some crash bars on, and then at least if it tips over, the tank will be safe. Might scuff the exhaust, but that's, you know, can live with that. But yeah, so if I end up walloping it down the road because of this black ice / defrosting ice, hopefully they'll help with that too. I have heard that crash bars can make things worse in high-speed crashes, but I think if you're having a high-speed crash on the road anyway, you're probably in for a bad time, regardless. Although I did have a high speeder on my old GPZ 500, and it slid quite down the road quite gracefully. It was a nice gentle low side. It just sort of came to rest against the curb. Whereas with a crash bar, it might have caught that curb and yeeted itself over. I don't know. Conjecture. I've run out of things to say. Just keep your eyes peeled for uploads of all kinds, hopefully. As long as I can pull my socks up, pull myself together, and not let this lack of employment get to me, because as I say, it's all I've ever known in my adult life. As long as I can keep myself pumped up, a bit of mojo, you know. I've been running and lifting weights, that really helps with mental health, any sort of exercise. I'm trying to eat well. I'm buying a lot less takeaways. I've only had one takeaway this year, and I think it's going to be my only one for January, because that was where I was spending a lot of money on that shit too. I think when you're not completely happy in your job, you spend that money on random shit just to make yourself feel better. Whereas since I found out I was made redundant, I found it a lot easier to just spend less money on nonsense, because I'm happier with where my life trajectory, so I don't need that retail therapy. But yeah, it is hard getting used to. It's a new way of life. It's a new way of life. That's the only way to put it. I've got enough money to put petrol in motorbikes, and that is the main thing. And so with that, I'll leave you there for this little update. I don't expect this video to do great, but I think the hardcore Road Warrior gang subscribers will appreciate it. Yeah, I'll catch up with you in the comments, and yeah, catch you next time on a video. Bye bye.